Last night around 9 o'clock, I sat down quietly to start a session with my client, Sandy. I went in with no expectations, no agenda. I wasn't there to push or to fix anything. My only job was to be aware, to be soft, open, and just listen. At first, everything felt incredibly still. Imagine a lake just before dawn, totally calm. No ripples, no wind, just a deep, profound quiet. If I had to describe that initial feeling, it was as if her entire system was guarded, but in a restful way. It was conserving energy, not resisting me. It felt like someone who is healing in their sleep and doesn't want to be woken up. There was this strong sense of protection around her energy field, like old armor forged from old strength. Her body seemed to be communicating, "I've carried so much. Just let me rest a little longer." It was a sacred space, and my role was simply to honor it. And then something really interesting started to happen. It wasn't the usual signs you might expect in this kind of work. There were no big dramatic yawns, no tears streaming down her face, no strong, visible jerks or shakes in her body. Instead, the movements were incredibly subtle. I felt these tiny impulses, these little internal twitches deep inside my own body as I was connected to her field. They were so small, I almost questioned if they were real. They weren't on the surface, not muscular spasms, but something much deeper, like a quiet shifting happening behind a curtain. For a moment I wondered, is anything actually happening here? But the longer I stayed present and just listened, the more it felt like a process of fine-tuning. It was like watching a master watchmaker meticulously adjusting tiny, intricate gears inside a beautiful timepiece. Or like thinking about tree roots underground, silently and gently finding new space to grow in the soil. It was happening, but it was happening on a level that wasn't designed for an audience. In the language of energy work, we often talk about loud releases, the shaking, the crying, the visible discharge of stored trauma, and those are powerful and valid. But there are also quiet releases, the kinds you can barely see, but you can feel them profoundly if you're paying attention. This is the nervous system slowly, gently softening its grip. It's the breath regulating itself without any conscious effort. It's the heart, which has been closed for protection, opening just a tiny little bit. It's not dramatic, but it is so real. Last night's session felt less like a storm passing through and more like water slowly finding its own level. It was a gentle balancing act, a subtle harmonizing. Nothing was forced, nothing was taken away. It was a natural, beautiful exchange where giving and receiving were in perfect, calm equilibrium, and it made me realize something important. Sometimes the deepest, most profound work doesn't look like anything special from the outside. Sometimes healing isn't a fireworks display. It's subtle. It's like snow falling silently at night while the whole world is asleep. You wake up in the morning, and the entire landscape has been transformed, soft, and made new. So maybe last night wasn't about a big release. Maybe it was about regulation. It wasn't about clearing out old energy, but about allowing everything to settle into its right place. It wasn't about breaking open, but about quietly, gently aligning. And what about those tiny inner jerks? Those little twitches I felt? Maybe they were simply the body's way of whispering something small but very important just moved. And in the quiet work of healing, that is more than enough. Thank you so much for listening. If this resonated with you, please consider subscribing for more reflections on the quiet side of healing.